Okay, so here we go. This is my first cardboard, whatever. I just I really like this like mini doodles or whatever, and I tried to copy this style and make my own stuff like this mouse. Is there a mouse anywhere here? I copied. Yeah, I copied this maybe, but in my own style. Yeah, I really like this art style, so I tried to copy it in my own way. This is my original character. This is also my original character. It isn't in these drawings. Okay, this is just random doodles and stuff. It's a what is this? It's a popsicle maybe. And this I like to draw faces a lot, so I draw face everywhere. This is some like I was thinking of a logo or something. Okay, so these drawings are very bad because like I was trying out these brush pens for the first time. This isn't how I draw. Okay, I was drawing from my imagination, plus I was trying out this new pen. Okay, so yeah, I don't actually draw this. Okay, maybe for an a drawing from imagination, this is actually good. Even my standard, yeah, this was reference. I think that's why it looks decent. I was practicing poses. Okay, I thought I was confusing the design exam with fine arts exam, right? So I was preparing drawing at fine arts level, and I was doing a shit job at it. I was trying to like study what do you call proportion plus gesture. Yeah. So here another like gesture drawing, facial what do you call emotion drawing. I fucked this up. I was trying this pen. This will be my justification because I was trying with this pen because you know it's really it's a really good pen, right? You can write like thin lines and then you can go like thick. Okay, so when you're drawing shadows, you can just do like this, right? And when you're making the detail, you can actually yeah. These are called brush pen. What brand are these? Tombow, whatever. These ones they're really good. I would recommend this to everyone. They're really good for drawing like comic art if you like that. So yeah, so basically I started here. That was it. Okay, I wasn't trying to like finish anything right here. Okay, I wasn't trying to finish the drawings or make them like super detailed, or I wasn't trying to get carried away with those things, right? I was watching video in perspective, and like I was just trying to imagine and imply it to my like small like doodles whatever. Okay, so I think this is 2 point perspective or whatever. You can't and you can't understand shit here because like yeah, I was just sketching things up whatever. Here actually I tried. I was maybe watching a YouTube video about drawing details without actually drawing it. Yeah, it's actually a great video. I don't remember whose video this was, but yeah, he drew this like really beautiful. I think it's in where I don't remember where this thing is, but it's a really beautiful uh, temple or thingy, and, and it has very beautiful like architecture and all. And he drew it, okay, but like from outside it looked like he put a lot of details, right? As you can see from even my sketch, it looks like I put a lot of detail. But when you zoom in and actually see there, then there aren't much details at all. It's all scribble, right? And he did the same thing. So yeah, he was telling his technique, and I made a note about it. Like when things are like closer to the screen, make them more detailed, and as soon as they go like out of the screen, make them more like scribbly, I guess. So yeah, because our eyes don't see in like everything in detail, right? Our eyes are only focused at one thing at one time. So yeah, you can make uh, you can focus on one thing and make everything else blurry which you don't want to focus on, or the small details, but it will still look like it is very detailed. This is like my drawing from imagination whatever. It's like a devil and his dog. He's riding an arrow. There is a ghost thingy, and I don't know what this is. This is a reference drawing of an old man. I drew this very late. This isn't in the same time frame. Okay, this date is like very old. Actually, I drew this when I was going to give the exam. I was in Delhi, and it was one day before the exam, I think, and I was waiting in the hotel lobby, and I was getting bored, so I drew this. And yeah, notice this cat. I wasn't able to show this cat actually, because when you are looking at this drawing, you will focus at his face, right? And this area is very dark, so you can't like, you don't, your eyes don't go here, so you don't notice the cat. Most people won't, I think. And the color also I messed up. I made the cat same color as like this coat, so you don't really notice the cat because it gets like bloody in all these things. It looks like it's parts of it. It looks like it is part of his coat. So yeah, I should have made the cat a different color maybe, or maybe left it like, brighter than how I left it. But yeah, I'm critiquing my own. Yeah, but yeah, that's what you should do. Critique your own work. I copied a manga panel here. It's like depressing, whatever. So yeah, basically, yeah. Look here, practicing. I was practicing perspective, because when you see the manga, right, manga panels, they are drawn in very small sizes, right, and they capture basically every part of design that you can think of. They they capture perspective, they capture like contrast, they capture like what to focus on, and they capture the highlights. And what are the design principles? I forgot again. uh, uh, Contrast, right, balance, yeah, and yeah, I forgot, but okay, I just memorized it for the exam. But yeah, you need to you need to uh, you need to make a lot of, you don't have to memorize the principles to actually apply it. When you're drawing something, sometimes it just pops out to you, right? When you draw a lot of stuff, or when you take a lot of photos, you won't know what contrast is, or what like a perfect framing is, right? You might not know it in theory, but when you capture the picture, a good photographer will like, without even understanding those theories, he will try to apply it, right? If that makes sense. So like when you are an artist, so you don't really need to know the theory behind something to like actually be able to apply it, I guess. When like artists back in the day didn't know much theory, right? When they saw something, they tried to like copy it, right? And like through copying those like styles, they made it their own kind of, and like they learned from it basically, like from what was I saying, those 16 chapel paintings. uh, Many other artists around the world got inspired and basically tried to copy the same style, and it became like the classic style of that entire century, actually few centuries after that. So yeah, I was basically saying that you don't need to understand the theory behind something to able to like draw it yourself, right? So yeah, here uh, they're even like what do you call it, they are even storyboarding. Yeah, there is also storyboarding. The manga have like phenomenal like storyboarding, so you can learn a lot from copying manga panels, okay, and studying them. Don't just copy it from like pixel to pixel or whatever. Don't copy it. You need to like understand what is going on, okay? Study it. Study it. Why did they put the character here, okay? Why did they not put much detail on the tub? Why did they draw reflection like this? Why did they drew hair like this? I am very bad at drawing hair, okay? I'm very bad. I tried to like draw something better, some what do you call it, a little bit better here, but yeah, I messed it up. Okay, again this this pen's fault, okay, not mine. Anyways, so yeah, an ID drawing syllabus. Okay, I was writing down what I need to prepare for a study. I was basically thinking that Jamia will ask based on an ID level question, I guess, because that is like a standard. I was thinking that way. So maybe they will ask, and they did ask some of the like drawing questions, something like that. Not this sequence drawing, but yeah, they did ask like a storyboarding questions, obviously. So yeah, this was a question from NID exam. They asked draw like chip making process, right? How potato is peeled, then it's fried, and then they are packed. Okay, this was about pickle making. I did this very badly. I was getting bored kind of. Then I just drew whatever human figure. This looks like shit, but yeah. I was just, I was just, I was just note making. Okay, so don't judge my drawings. It's the idea that counts in design. Okay, not your drawings. But yeah, being able to draw shadow. I was basically making out memory drawing. What is this? Memory drawings. I was basically writing down what I need to work on. Okay. I was basically writing down what I need to work on. I drew what are 1, 2, 3 point perspective. 1 point is like 1 point, then everything branching out. 2 point, then like you just uh, bring out bunch of lines from there. 3 point is actually a little bit confusing when you are first learning it. As you can see, I fucked it up. Now that I see it after practicing it a bit, 3 point is not like you need to draw every arrow in like in single line. When you're drawing 3 point perspective, sometimes you get carried away by one single point, right? And you try to exaggerate that one single point, like I'm doing this upside point. But yeah, it's a common mistake. I was writing down design theory. I was focusing too much on theory here. This didn't help me at all. Okay, maybe it did, but yeah, I was just note making here without thinking. Creative problem solving. These are bunch of inspiration thingy or whatever. I tried to write down everything I thought will be helpful. Okay, whatever I found here and there, whatever I thought was interesting, I wrote it down here. I wasn't actually preparing for the exam, but I think these helped me make my mind more about how I wanted to go about it. I think um, to study, I made basic color theory. I needed to learn design principles, famous artists, art movements, and for drawing practice, perspective, object sketching, and all. Okay. uh, I was very, I'm still am very bad at drawing hands, so I was practicing drawing hands here. uh, Hand drawing practice. I some of the drawings on my hand. This is my hand. This is also my hand. This is also my hand. You just need to like take this example and draw, or capture a photo of your hand, then draw. That is the best way. Don't take it from Pinterest or whatever. Or best thing is that you take your hand like this and draw from one hand and and look at your hand in real life. Okay, when you're drawing from real life, it is much more productive, and you learn so much more than when you're drawing from a photo, because like a photo shows you exact uh, proportion you need to make it right. But in real life, you can't really, what do you say, you can't really measure the what do you call, what do you always you can't always accurately measure the proportion of things basically just from looking at. Okay, so yeah, I was practicing drawing uh, sceneries here, and obviously it's fucked up because of this pen. Where did the pen go? Here, this pen. Okay, but it looks good here. Okay, because I took advantage of the contrast, the design principles. I left out the like three uh, 2/3 of the drawing as a white part. Okay, so here it guides your eyes, right? So it doesn't look bad when you see from like above. It looks like a market, right? Maybe it doesn't to you. But I fucked up many things here, but yeah, it kind of looks like a scenery, you can tell. This one actually I did good with, I think, because from beginning I was thinking that I would add colors here. Okay, so that's why I was being much more. I basically fucked this one up, so later I decided that I will make this one more clear and more defined, so I drew lightly. I like to draw faces a lot. The surprising thing is that there aren't much faces so far. If you see my other sketchbook, I have only drawn faces. I'm obsessed with drawing human faces and emotions. Okay, so yeah, I drew some faces here. I think this is after exam also, maybe, or during. Which date is that? 5 May, June. No. This is before exam. Okay. Here I drew some object drawing I had to practice, so I colored them as well, so that they will look good. Theory topic to study. This is again a study list. I made so much routine, but I didn't follow it right. Exactly. I wanted to. I'm practicing the shadow from above. This is also a 3 point perspective, right? One, two, and like three. 3 point perspective. Basically, a grid. Make a grid. Then think of buildings. Okay, following the grid, and then basically in x, y axis they are going like this, right? And then there is this axis, whatever. Okay, so basically 3 point perspective. 1 point maybe below here, 1 point maybe here, and 1 point maybe here, right? Coming from like that. This is basically 3 point perspective drawing. Whenever you are drawing something from top down perspective, like a map view, or from like overview, you are basically drawing in a 3rd point perspective. So best way to think about 3rd point perspective is that you are seeing that thing as from ground, it's in the sky, or you are seeing it from the sky and something is on the ground, if that makes sense. This is some building I found on the internet. This is again the gesture drawing. This is again perspective plus gesture drawing or whatever. I was trying to copy the Kim Jong Gi style, if you know who he is. He is a really great Chinese artist. So yeah, some scenery, anime style, whatever. This is also a perspective drawing. This is a girl's hair. Okay, should I fuck this up? Okay, this is her hair. This is her hair. Okay, this is her shirt. This is her pant. This is the kitchen counter. Maybe you can tell it now what it is, but before it looked like again a face hair. This is a actually the sketch was much better, but then I started adding too much detail, and then I started working with pen over it, and I fucked it up. uh, Design principles here. Okay. uh, Movement, rhythm, pattern, harmony, white space, balance, emphasis, contrast, hierarchy, perspective, alignment, and variety. Yeah, anyways, look at this cool car I drew. Then yeah, I again made note of principle of design. This is the boring part, okay? But yeah, you need to know this or maybe memorize this, because this is the basic of design. So you need to memorize this technically, because this is like table. So you kind of have to memorize some things to have fun basically later on. So this is the shortcut or whatever formula I made. Mr. PHW Beach Pow Beach Pow, and I think I yeah, Mr. PSW Beach Pow. M's for movement, rhythm, piece, and I think I added some things later on, but yeah. uh, Actually this one was helpful, very helpful, because the questions were actually easy but confusing. If you don't know the color theory, if you haven't studied like this type of color theory or basic color theory, you would have gotten the primary color question wrong. Okay, you would have put like RGB as a primary color, but in painting we don't take RGB as our primary color, but we take this one as our primary color, red, blue, and yellow. In painting they were asking about painting primary color, not the RGB one. They are used in only like technology field, or like things to do with screen and whatever. Okay, so yeah, this was helpful. Maybe if you need to take notes, copy mine here and here. Okay, then some painting, some practice here, drawing practices. Here I was focusing more on details, shadows, perspective, and gesture, pose, whatever, everything I could focus on basically. uh, Again, this sketch was much better, but I ruined it by again using my pen over it. Okay, if are sketching, okay, I wasn't basically trying, but yeah, I made it realistic at first. Okay, I made it very realistic at first, but then I sketched over it for some reason. Yeah, I think because I was trying to practice the pose. Basically, I was breaking down her pose. First I copied this image from the photo, then I was breaking down her pose from like different angle, what it would look like. So yeah, this I drew completely from completely pen. I didn't draw it with pencil first and then put pen. I completely drew this with pen. Not this pen. I used like 0.3 mm pen. 0.3 mm drawing pen. I use those. They're very like thin, like compared to, like, if I compare this to like ball pen, like, look at this, how, look at the difference between the lines. They're much more thinner, right? And they can go even thinner. I basically push some pressure to make them this thick. Okay. Next, AI impact on design career. This was my personal curiosity, so I wrote it down. I asked ChatGPT, "What do you think about the design career uh, with AI and all taking over like art field and all?" It basically answered that design is more about human interaction, right? So even if the technology develops, the human won't change, right? So human interaction is going to be understood more by the humans always, or maybe not always. Maybe AI becomes better at predicting human behavior more than humans. But yeah, maybe it can even sympathize more than humans to humans. But I don't know. For now, user experience is human dominated field. This is more storyboarding I tried. They all look very bad, but I think the quick sketching part of all this helped me in the like helped me in drawing the last part of the uh, Jamia's questions. If you have given the exam, I can show it. The question was, I drew very bad. Where is the drawing part? I didn't bring the drawing part or what? Yeah, drawing part they took, right. I had to draw on question only. uh, so yeah, in the drawing part there was a storyboard question, and I wasn't really sure about it. This is like interior question, and there was a very little space to draw the interior design they asked for in the exam as well. So actually this helped me. I me My habit of drawing in small spaces actually helped me. I saw like in some coaching institute they give you like big cardboard size pages to draw homes, interior design and whatever, but like yeah, I just I just made this box and drew inside it like whatever, TV here, sofa here, and yeah, and made it in perspective basically. Here is perspective practice. These are more accurate, as you can see from the last one. I was practicing contrast here, like contrasting the sky so these boys can pop out more. This was a robot. Also perspective drawing. Countless empires have died out, but their art still outlives them. That is indeed true. And this is the drawing I copied of Leonardo da Vinci's sketch. Of course, not as good as his, but yeah, I think he was also struggling with drawing hands, so he was practicing sketching hands more. There's a general part I will skip. Okay, here I was practicing anatomy here. I'm still very bad at it. Some I thought this type of question will get asked, so I just drew an album cover. No, not album. What is it called? Magazine cover. Yeah, magazine cover. These are characters from One Piece. Anyways, some NID UCED question I solved. I got like 20 marks. What? How many full marks? What's the full marks? I don't know, but I got 20 marks in it. This is UCED, I think, question, because I remember this question. Basically, you had to think about if the cloth wraps around a cube, what the cloth design on the cube would look like, or what the cube will look like if it was wrapped in that like paper. It was very tough to figure out, but yeah. uh, Anyways, I think I scored decent, but I would probably not get in. uh, some This type of question was asked in the exam. More I try to enhance, I mean, I try to make that more better. Some random drawings I when I was watching an anime. I made kitchen drawing of an Indian like normal household, because I people when they are asked to draw a kitchen, they usually go for like Western style kitchen. So I was looking for more about Indian kitchen references and was trying to draw them more. Again, some self reflection, drawing note, whatever, storyboarding. I wrote about MF Hussain and his life. I like to write what I am learning. Yeah, I don't do it always, but I do sometimes. I drew his sketch. I made. Uh, yeah, this was a question. What was the question? There was a story and you had to explain it in question. This was also I was attempting the previous year questions of the drawing part. This was all drawing part. I was I was practicing the drawing part. With the mind is ex- this was question something like express this quote of Rabindranath Tagore. This I was trying out my pen, so I drew this hyper realistic eye. I don't like hyper realism, by the way, but yeah, I do like to draw it sometimes. I like expressive drawing and imagination drawings more than the hyper realistic drawings. Here about like more about I was trying to memorize them. Basically, I was trying to memorize the GK part of the. But I generally started gaining interest uh, in those. I mean about those artists that our country had, art movements. I studied about the art movements both from the international point of view and the national point of view. I knew that in the exam there will be more focus on the national point of view, but still I was interested in the international point of view as well, so I studied them. I always heard about it, right? I always heard like about like Roscoe movement, neoclassicism, romanticism, whatever. I never actually understood them completely, but I had some ideas about it already. But yeah, I didn't completely understand how they all began and whatever. So yeah, I studied them. Anyways, this is all types of perspective again. I don't know. I already knew. I don't know why I wrote the same thing so many times. Maybe it helped me. I think and write. I was doing some product design type drawings. This is from my memory. That's why it looks so bad. I saw a couple, an uncle and auntie was sleeping in uncle's lap, and it is a very rare sight to see in Indian Indian couples, especially older couples. So I thought it was cute. Uh, this was when I was going to Delhi, by the way. Here I drew when I was on the like top, what do you call it, uh, top berth of the uh, train. How do I forget train? Okay, so I drew it from my top berth, what I was seeing. Okay, everyone was sleeping and I was just drawing like a goblin. This drawing is from a reference, so that's why it's so good. It is not my own creation, I would say that. But yeah, I was I was focusing more on the shadow in this one, and I was focusing more on the gesture in on this one. As you can see, this is this is the drawing I did from life. I was sitting and waiting for the metro to finally start. I was very early there, so yeah, I drew this from life. As you can see, my perspective aren't very perfect. I didn't know how to draw it in two perspective. one point perspective, 2 point perspective, or 3 point perspective. But I realized that most of the IRL drawing, matlab in real life drawings that you would do, you will do it in, if you're doing it in a closed space or in a closed building, your drawings would most likely be in 1 point perspective, okay. And when you're doing it outside, it is more likely to be 2 point perspective. So yeah, again practice, when you are learning perspective, okay, don't draw complex stuff, don't draw complex sceneries to understand them. Just draw a lot of boxes like this, okay. Just practice a lot of boxes, just simple square shapes. If you figure out how to draw squares to draw in a perspective, you can draw anything basically. This I didn't draw from memory, but yeah, I drew it from the photo. But yeah, this is also Delhi metro station. This is a plant I found on the desk of the table I was sitting at in Delhi hotel lobby, and I drew it. I couldn't figure out how to draw if two stairs were like in the corner. I didn't know how to draw it in perspective, in 2 point perspective or 3 point perspective, and how they will cross. It took some time to figure out. Yeah, that's why you should practice a lot of boxes, you know. In the end it was simple, in the end it was basically simple. You need to draw a square, right? Like how you draw a square and a small square, then you need to connect them, okay. And then you need to draw another big square, and you need to connect these two squares, and basically these are the stairs, okay. If you put the point here, 1 point, you can draw it in 1 point as well. So these will become your stairs. You can go do it like that, and yeah, it will show like that, whatever. These are drawing from my memories. I was practicing a lot of station, railway, or metro drawings because I knew that they would be asked, because they are always asked in NID kind of exams. I don't think Jamia asked that type of question. This is the finished drawing that I did after. Yeah, also waiting in that lobby on 19. So exam was on 20 basically. No, this I did on the exam day, on the 19th, after coming from the exam basically. After giving the exam and coming from the exam, I was waiting in the lobby and I drew this, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm forgetting the dates, whatever. I'm very bad with dates. Yeah, this is after the exam and all. This is after everything after the exam. This is everything after I came home. This is whatever I made the affidavit. This is today's drawing basically, and I made this today when I was on station. I made some gesture drawing. So yeah, this is all. And yeah, that was my notebook tour of preparation of my Jamia design exam, which I think I did well, because I got the I got over the general cutoff, which was like 73%, 73 marks or whatever. So yeah, if I think next year they will definitely increase the level of toughness of the exam. But yeah, because I think this year's exam was very easy in compared to NID and UCED exams. I was expecting much more higher level of questions in especially the objective section. Objective section was basically so basic that I don't understand why they even ask it. They just hinted at the answer itself, right? And like they gave three options which sounded evil. Basically they gave, what is design? Design is something that destroys. Design is something that burns the world. Design is something that kills your mom. And design is something, and then the right answer, yeah, design is how which helps people, okay, whatever. In Yeah, it was, the questions were like that, okay. So yeah, I don't understand why they like asked questions like that. But yeah, they definitely need to increase the level of objective questions, especially. I didn't enjoy the exam, the objective section of the exam. I was surprised that they asked this, but again, it is not an ID. But yeah, I think this would increase their standards basically of the entrance exam of especially the design department, because they have high standards for all the BTech courses and all. So yeah, I expect more from the design entrance exam. Anyways, so I think the most of the judging was done according to the drawing part of the exam, which kind of, yeah, which kind of makes sense. Then why did they give the same weightage to the objective part than the subjective part? They basically made 50 marks for objective, 50 marks for subjective. In NID, it's only like 20 marks for like objective and 80 marks for subjective or whatever. I might be wrong, but it's something like that. They give more. They give more points to like this drawing part of the section. But yeah, they should do something like that in what. And also the time distribution, it doesn't make sense at all. Like objective, the objective you can do in like 30 minutes, or like the exam was 3 hour, right? They distributed the time equally to both parts. That kind of sucked, because 1.5 hour to objective and 1.5 hour to drawing isn't the same. Drawing part needs more time. Even though it's only 5 questions, it requires planning. It requires, yeah, it requires a lot of things to like design something and like write a story and whatever about each questions basically. So I think they need to distribute. First of all, they need to change the point system and make it like 25 marks for objective, and then like 75 whatever, what 530, yeah, 75, right? Am I calculating it right? I'm very bad at maths basically. Okay, so whatever, they need to do like 3 3 7 distribution to the like a point distributing system between objective and subjective. And if not that, they should at least uh, divide up the time like 1 hour to objective and 2 hours to drawing basically. Because I was sitting for almost 45 minutes doing nothing at all after like completing the objective part basically. Okay, I completed the objective part and I was sitting there doing nothing for 45 minutes. And then I rushed so much in the like drawing part. I couldn't even complete many of my ideas well enough, and I just scribbled my many of my drawings, which I kind of hate. I could have done much better. So yeah, I think they need to do something about that. And yeah, uh, I'm very thankful that I got into it. I got into the Jamia program. I think one of the reason is that it wasn't that well known, and it wasn't that popular as NID or UCED. I think from the next year it will be much tougher to get into Jamia, just because I think the competition will rise. And yeah, I think more people will get to know about it. Uh, so yeah, I think you should start preparing from now. And I will suggest to prepare from the NID and UCED questions if you want to do well in the Jamia exam. If it's a little bit tougher, it's better for you, right? At least you will be more prepared, right? So no harm in that. And if you're already going for NID exam, then it's all better for you, more better for you. So yeah, that's all for today. Good luck, and I look forward to posting more stuff related to design. Bye bye, see ya.